ships, ang 5 sa pinakamalalaking maritime disaster.
Year after year, the Philippines encounters challenges that test the spirit of the Filipino people and the resolve of the Philippine Coast Guard. But the beginning of a new decade is 2020. Saw unprecedented challenges that strained economies and threatened to bring nations to its knees. As the commandant of the Philippine Coast Guard, Admiral Garcia ensured that the service of the men and women of the Philippine Coast Guard are ready as frontline in battling disasters in these extraordinary trying times. As the Philippines started to wage a war 2 months ago against an unseen enemy, the Philippine Coast Guard stood with other agencies on the front and activated its task groups laban COVID-19 with 13 task groups in all Coast Guard districts. An initial 2,220 PCG personnel and a number of Coast Guard vessels and watercrafts were deployed to seaports and quarantine control points for the strict enforcement of enhanced community quarantine in the entire area of Luzon. 5 PCG and MCS vessels also patrolled the Philippine-Malaysia border to prevent the entry of individuals from Sabah to Zamboanga, Basilan, Sulu, and Tawi-Tawi. With the suspension of public transport under the ECQ, PCG assets were utilized to augment the vehicles under the Department of Transportation's Libreng Sakay program, ferrying a total of 1,466 frontliners and health workers and assisting 51 patients. PCG floating and air assets were also dispatched to transport millions of pesos worth of medical supplies and personal protective equipment sets or PPEs, which include face masks and gloves. As the Department of Social Welfare and Development prepared food packs for Filipino families covered by the ECQ, the Philippine Coast Guard provided personnel augmentation for repacking and distribution of relief goods. It also helped secure social workers during the distribution of cash aid under the Social Amelioration Program. The PCG, meanwhile, recalled its nurses and medical technologists to form deployable response units for affected areas in Luzon as the country ramped up testing for COVID-19. With tens of thousands of Filipinos getting repatriated, the PCG was called to supervise the RT-PCR testing and to implement the mandatory quarantine strictly while awaiting for the test results. The command managed the operations at the mega swabbing facility in Palacio de Maynila, which collected specimen from repatriated OFWs, suspected and probable COVID-19 cases for testing. It also coordinated with shipping companies for the accommodation of stranded foreign nationals and supervised the operation of the COVID-19 treatment facility at Pier 15 Port Area, Manila, in collaboration with the Department of Health, the Philippine Ports Authority, and the Maritime Industry Authority. PCG's presence is all over different places, conducting health protocols and inspections in watercrafts, maritime and land patrols in coastal communities, swab testing at cruise ships and different testing facilities, and security in airports and hotels. Just a couple of days after the country ushered in the year 2020, disaster threatened Filipinos in Luzon. The Taal volcano erupted in January, spewing thick ashes and forcing large-scale evacuations. The PCG immediately activated Task Force Taal and deployed close to 1,000 personnel to help in the evacuation, rescue, and relief efforts in the area.
Magnitude 6.4 earthquake has struck the Philippine island of Mindanao.
Towards the end of last year, a series of powerful earthquakes rocked parts of Mindanao,
Hindi nakaligtas at
claiming
namatay ang
lives
isang
and wreaking havoc to some villages in the southern part of the
The
country.
quake struck around 70 kilometers southwest from the city of Davao.
Now,
This prompted the PCG to activate Task Force Tabang Mindanao for the conduct of humanitarian assistance and disaster response.
members of PCG Task Unit 2.2 were sent to Marawi City.
Even during his term as the officer in charge in 2017, Admiral Garcia proactively responded to the pressing needs of our country, the Marawi siege.
Ikinararangal ko po ang kanilang kontribusyon. Ikinararangal ko po na araw-araw sila ay nakakaamoy ng pulbura. Sila ay sumusuong sa bala sa lawa ng Marawi upang pigilan ang pagpasok ng supply, materials, bala, kagamitan ng mga terorista.
In an effort to curb piracy and other illegal activities on the Philippine waters, the Philippine Coast Guard adopted the Unified Vessel Numbering System, which now has 232,205 registered vessels and 227,110 marked vessels. Admiral Garcia said this would deprive terrorist groups and kidnap for ransom bandits of boats to use for illegal operations.
It's not just policing the sea or enforcing military actions at sea, but equally important is, of course, addressing the economic issues that befall the peoples living in this area. Because you see, the barrel of the gun is not the solution.
And to date, with a strong cooperation with the Armed Forces of the Philippines and Philippine National Police, no increase of major piracy incidents have been recorded. Meantime, the National Coast Watch Center, led by the Commandant, signed an agreement with the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency last January to allow PDEA agents aboard any Coast Guard vessel with lesser formalities.
And not just the floating asset of the Coast Guard, including the resources of the other agencies, the 9 agencies, shall be accorded in support to the mission operational function based on the mandate of the PDEA.
For swifter operations against illegal drug smuggling, transportation, and transshipment. In February, the Philippine Coast Guard seized at least 9,000 sacks of smuggled rice off the waters of Zamboanga del Sur. 3 months later, as parts of the country were on lockdown over the COVID-19 pandemic, the task force at Wana assisted in busting 40 million worth of Chinese medicines which claimed to cure the coronavirus, PPE sets, and medical supplies. Joint operatives of the Bureau of Customs and the National Bureau of Investigation confiscated the said items. Admiral Garcia initiated the increase of budget to more than 100% to procure the following assets: personal watercrafts, aluminum boats, rubber boats, 7-meter ribs donated by Japan in 2018, rigid hull inflatable boats with outboard motor, 12-meter high-speed boats donated by Japan, 11.5-meter special purpose crafts, portable X-ray detector, 44-meter multi-role response vessels as part of the maritime safety capability, 15-meter high-speed boat, 24-meter fast patrol boats between the PCG and French shipbuilder Osea, Defiant metal shark boats, and 83-meter offshore patrol vessel from France. The increased budget likewise allowed the PCG to bolster its air assets with the purchase of 2 units of Airbus H145 rescue helicopters, fully equipped ambulances, PCG buses, boom trucks, staff vehicles, multi-purpose vans, and C-35 6x6 trucks. With its vital role in the counter-terrorism, anti-illegal drug, and anti-smuggling efforts of the government. It was imperative for the PCG to upgrade its law enforcement capability by arming its people with the following weapons: 9mm submachine gun, 7.62mm light machine guns combat package, 5.56mm assault rifle, 9mm pistol, and sniper rifle. The PCG's leadership recognized the crucial role of information and communication among the units in the field. The PCG ordered the following upgrades: VHF-based radios, automatic identification system, HF communication radios, handheld radios, and VHF marine band handheld radios. As a testament to Admiral Garcia's foresight, the PCG is expected to add the following assets to the inventory: 94-meter multi-role response vessel from Japan, fast patrol craft, and weapons including .50 caliber remote-controlled weapon system to be attached to PCG patrol boats and vessels. Moreover, significant projects such as the construction of K9 Hospital building, PCG Hospital, establishment and construction of the PCG K9 Institute and Development Center on the allocated land within the Clark Special Economic Zone with an area of 100,021 square meters. Construction of coastal radar systems from Japan on 11 radar stations in Mindanao. Construction of coastal radar systems from the Philippine government in 10 radar stations. The construction of the following Coast Guard bases are ongoing. To aid maritime safety efforts, navigational buoys amounting to 13.5 million pesos is also scheduled to be delivered, while the PCG has received half of the 29 units of primary LED lanterns amounting to 38.91 million pesos. Among the completed projects are the 94 lanterns and the installation of 19 lighted buoys. To complement PCG's modernized equipment, Admiral Garcia initiated and crafted the Service Command Career Path or SECOMCAP, which seeks to hone specific skill sets that personnel may find valuable in their chosen track. This will guide the PCG as it envisions to boost its manpower from the current 16,756 to 37,869 by year 2025.
Because you are now a government property of the Republic of the Philippines.
To optimize the screening and recruitment of qualified aspiring PCG personnel, the command conducted nationwide recruitment, which drew a total of 33,358 applicants, the largest in PCG history. With the massive recruitment of personnel, the PCG activated and facilitated the installation of training facilities in the following new regional training centers: RTC Masbate, RTC Cagayan, RTC Zamboanga, and RTC Negros. Aside from local schooling, the PCG partnered with its foreign counterparts in various courses. Training exercises and interoperability operations with foreign counterparts also contribute in boosting PCG's efficiency in responding to emergencies. Ensuring maritime safety, security, and peace in the country is a coordinated effort of different local and international partner agencies and private groups. Admiral Garcia kept these relations with stakeholders strong.
People
good to develop and grow together in the next centuries to come.
Admiral Garcia is not only leaving the Philippine Coast Guard stronger and more perceptive to the needs of the public than it was as an organization. When the future generation of Filipinos look back at these tough times, they would see records of lives rescued by the Coast Guard, families they helped provide with relief, and tireless efforts to help keep this nation standing despite crippling challenges. They will remember the PCG under Admiral Garcia's leadership as an organization of men and women who stood on the right side of history.